Hi there. I'm going to show you how to create a weekly module on Blackboard. So when you open up your course, this is the page you should see. You may have other announcements or other things here. But over here on the left, I have a weekly modules tab. Now, if you haven't created one of those yet, go ahead and click on this plus sign and add a content area. And since I already have a weekly modules page, I'm going to call it weekly modules 1. And I'm going to say that it's available to users, meaning that my students in the class can see it. Then I'll say submit. You'll see that it showed up way down here. These two arrows on the side over here let me move it wherever I'd like. So I'll just move it up here. Now for the sake of editing, I'm going to show you what was already in my weekly modules section. So I have 2 folders that I've already made. Now the benefit of using folders is that you can organize your course by week or by unit or however you'd like. So in this example here, you see that I have the topic for the week listed in the title. I have the dates for the week of that module. And then I have the topics here really laid out for the students. So now if you click on that folder, it brings you to the week's worth of assignments. First and foremost, every week you should really put in your objectives, list any readings you'd like, post some videos, and then this particular instructor had 2 different discussions. Now these discussions are linked directly to the discussion board, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Then she wanted a reminder for her students to take a look at the week 2 folder for instructions for a presentation, and then a reminder to attend the class session face-to-face. So this is what a typical week would look like. Now I'm going to go back to my weekly modules folder. So now let's practice putting one of these together. So I'm going to go to my new content area here that I created, weekly modules 1. Click on that so it should be empty. I'm going to build content and add a content folder. I'll title this folder week 1. Here's where I can put in the dates, the topics, or anything else you wanted to include. Once you're done, you have some options here. Yes, I want my students to be able to see it. No, I don't really care about tracking the number of views, and I don't want to select any restrictions on it, so I'll just say submit. So here you can see these are the things I just typed in. Now, in order to put things in the folder, I need to click on the folder, open it up, and now I can build content in the folder. So I'm going to start by saying build content again, and the simplest thing to create is called an item. So I'm going to say create item, and this is where I can type in objectives. Students will what? And you can type those in bullet points if you'd like. You have all of these editing features here. So here's bullet points, so they can do this, they can do this, etc. Then I'll go down here again, and I'm going to say submit. Okay. I'm going to build content again. I will create another item, and this one I'll title readings. Right away I'm going to put in some bullet points. And I'll say textbook chapter 2, link to article here. If that's everything, I'll go down again and I'll say submit. So now your students know what they have to read. Now let's say you went and you put your readings in first and then your objectives, but you wanted your objectives first. These same arrows pop up here as they did over here, and these just mean that you can rearrange your items freely. But I want my objectives first. Now I'm going to go in and add a video. So once again, I'm going to go to Build Content, and again, I'm going to add an item, and I'll just call it video. Now, one of the tools you have as an option is this little guy right here. If you hover over them, it tells you what it is. I'm going to embed a video file from YouTube. So if I click on that, a window should pop up. Before that pops up, I need to go back and copy paste the title of my video. I'm sorry, the URL. So I'm going to say copy. Bring my screen back here. And I'm going to paste in my file URL. There's my video. I'm going to say insert. And it will show up yellow, and that's okay in this editing screen. When you're done, just say submit. And your video, if you give it some time, will pop up right here. Let's see if I refresh my screen if it shows up. Yep, there it is. So now your students can watch the video right in their Blackboard course, which is great. Now let's say you want to add an assignment. That is under Assessments, then Assignment. So I'm going to name this assignment Paper 1. Here are the instructions for the paper. Here are the details. If instead you didn't want to transfer all of your text in here, you can actually attach a file if you had a file. Assign a due date. I will do that. I'll say this is due next Thursday by end of the day, midnight. I'm going to say that it's 30 points. And now here's where I can add a rubric, and we can do that later. I will just make the assignment available now. I don't need to track the number of views again because I'll know if they saw it by them turning it in on time. I'll say submit. So this is where your students would click to submit their paper. They would just attach their file here and your students would say submit. Okay, so far I have my objectives, my readings, my video. I have a paper to do next week. Let's add a discussion now. That's under Tools and Discussion Board. And I'm going to link directly to a discussion board page. Whoops, no, I'm sorry. I want to link to a discussion board forum so that it goes straight to a specific forum. These are discussion forums that I've already created, but I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to call my forum Week 1 Discussion on Blended Learning. Here are my expectations for the discussion. Here are the questions you're answering. Yes, it's available, no restrictions. Here's where you have some different options. This one right here is really important. You can have your students be able to view all of the threads inside the forum, or they have a neat quality here in which you can require your participants to create a thread prior to viewing other students' threads. So if you don't want them to be able to see someone else's post before they post, then this would be a really great option for you. So I'll say that. I will say this is a graded discussion forum. I'll say it's worth 5 points. Again, I can add a rubric, which we will do later. These other things are fine. I want them to be able to attach files. I don't want to allow them to rate the post, so I'll just say submit. Usually I just leave their options and it's fine. So now I'm back to that linked discussion board page again. So I'm going to select a specific forum. Here's my week 1 discussion on blended learning I just created. I'll say next. Now here again, I can type in my expectations for the discussion. I can type in the questions I want them to ask for the discussion. Same options here. I'm just going to say submit. So now here at the very bottom, if they click on this, it brings them straight to the discussion forum where your students then can create their threads. I'm going to go back to my folder. I'm going to add one more piece to this, which is just to create an item as a reminder to attend class. Let's say my class is on Thursday nights. Since I am doing a blended course, I will say that instead of having my 4-hour night class, I'll have 2 hours. So attend class from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. and I'll say submit. So here I have my objectives for the week, my readings, the video I'd like them to watch. They have a paper due. They have their week 1 discussion on blended learning, which can be based off of their video and their readings, and then a reminder to attend our class from 6:30 to 8:30. Okay, you're welcome to play around with some of the other features. There's a lot of other different things. You can add videos this way, however, I found that it gets a little tricky. In the YouTube video one is also kind of tricky, which is why I just add an item and then embed the media like I did here. But there are quite a few different things. Assessments, this is where you can add your tests or your surveys as well as your assignments. And tools, you can add features like a blog, journal, wiki, but I will kind of talk about those other features in another tutorial video.